Humans are primitive, technologically stunted, and entirely predictable, said Commander Galm'ek, his 4 eyes narrowing with disdain as he studied the holographic display. This assignment is beneath your talents, Observer Trazic. I shifted uncomfortably on my hover pad. Coming from the most respected Neb'ulari research vessel in the quadrant, such an assignment did seem peculiar. But orders were orders. Thank you for your concern, Commander. However, the Council believes these Earth vessels warrant closer inspection. Their technological progress has accelerated dramatically in the past 50 cycles. Galm'ek snorted, a high-pitched whistling sound that made my auditory membranes vibrate unpleasantly. Progress? They barely have functional ion drives. Their communication systems are laughably primitive, and they still use biological pilots instead of proper quantum intelligences. I didn't disagree, but something about the humans intrigued me. Perhaps it was their resilience. Or maybe their bizarre tendency to cooperate despite having no hive-mind connection. The Neb'ulari Science Council clearly saw something worth investigating. Sir. Unknown vessels approaching from Sector 7. Lieutenant Paxlor's voice cut through my thoughts. The bridge erupted into activity. Galm'ek spun around, tentacles flailing. Show me. The holographic display shifted to reveal 5 small Earth ships moving in tight formation. They appear to be heading toward the asteroid belt mining colony, I observed, checking my data pad. Wait, they're broadcasting on open frequencies. It's a distress response. There's been some kind of accident at the human mining outpost. Or so they claim, Galm'ek hissed. Suspicious timing, wouldn't you say? Just as we enter their system for observation. This has a military probe written all over it. Sir, our intelligence indicates these are civilian rescue vessels. They're medical transports, not warships. Galm'ek's face tentacles curled with contempt. Your naivety is showing, Observer. This is clearly a reconnaissance force testing our defenses. But Commander, Weapons Officer. Target the lead vessel and fire a warning shot. Let's see how these medical transports respond to a little pressure. My 4 hearts nearly stopped. Commander. The Council explicitly forbade. The bridge flashed brilliant green as our forward batteries discharged. On the display, the human ship didn't bank away as expected. The energy beam struck its midsection, tearing through the unshielded hull. The vessel shuddered, then exploded in a horrifying ball of fire. What have you done? I screamed, abandoning all protocol. Those were rescue ships. Galm'ek looked momentarily stunned. They should have had basic deflector shields if they were. Incoming transmission, Paxlor announced, voice trembling. It's from Earth Central Command. The message was short. Just 5 words that made my exoskeleton go cold. You will regret that decision. Within moments, our sensors detected energy signatures. Not from nearby. From everywhere. Hidden weapons platforms. Stealth vessels decloaking. Orbital defense systems activating across the entire system. Galm'ek stared at the rapidly changing tactical display. Impossible. Our intelligence said they had only 1 defensive warship in this sector. I watched as thousands of signatures bloomed across our screens. I believe, Commander, I said quietly, that we have made a terrible mistake. #only 1 ship? Part 2, the unexpected response, only 1 ship? That's what your intelligence reported? High Admiral Zento bellowed, her holographic image flickering with interference as our communication buoys struggled against human jamming signals. Galm'ek's skin had turned a sickly pale blue. Yes, Admiral. 1 defensive cruiser designated Vigilant. Our deep cover operatives confirmed this repeatedly. I couldn't remain silent any longer. Admiral, I've been studying their transmissions since the incident. This was clearly misinformation deliberately fed to our operatives. The humans suspected we were watching. Nonsense. Galm'ek snapped. They're barely past combustion engines. They couldn't possibly, sir, I interrupted, pushing a data stream to the main display. Look at these patterns. They're encrypted, but the frequency and distribution suggest a coordinated military response. These aren't panicked civilians. This is a planned counteroffensive. The Admiral's tentacles writhed with annoyance. Observer Trazik, your concern is noted but unnecessary. We're dispatching 3 battle cruisers to your position. The humans will be subdued and this unfortunate incident contained within the cycle. The transmission ended, leaving Galm'ek glaring at me. You've overstepped, Observer. Commander, we need to broadcast an immediate apology and withdrawal. The humans will be taught their place, he hissed. 30 minutes later, alarms blared throughout our ship. Multiple incoming projectiles. Paxlor shouted. Unknown design. They're too small to cause significant damage, the first impact sent our vessel spinning. Not explosives, kinetic penetrators that somehow phased through our energy shields like they weren't even there. Boarding parties detected on decks 3 through 7, someone shouted. The tactical display showed our sister ships suffering similar fates. A human transport vessel had appeared seemingly from nowhere. On our main screen, a transmission forced its way through our firewalls. A human female with dark hair pulled back tightly appeared, her expression calm but eyes burning with cold fury. This is Commander Ellie Vance of Earth Defense Forces. Your unprovoked attack on an unarmed medical convoy has been classified as an act of war. Surrender your vessels or be destroyed. Cut that transmission. Galm'ek ordered. Defensive positions. They're just humans. Our superior technology, sir, I pleaded one last time. The boarding teams are inside our shield perimeter. Their weapons are neutralizing our internal defenses. We should negotiate while, I will not surrender to primitives, he roared. The deck beneath us shuddered as something massive detonated 3 levels below. Through the ship's sensors, I watched in horrified fascination as human soldiers, so small yet so determined, methodically took control of section after section. Commander Vance's voice echoed through the ship's communication system, you had your chance. And then the real attack began, #only one ship? Part 3, Humanity Unleashed. I watched in stunned silence as the tactical display showed our fleet, once considered the pride of the Neb'ulari Defense Force, being systematically dismantled by human forces that seemed to materialize from nowhere. How are they bypassing our quantum shields? Galm'ek demanded, smashing his command console with a tentacle. It's impossible. No species at their development stage should be able to penetrate phase-shifted barriers. A human voice answered from our own speakers. Actually, it's pretty simple physics once you understand the harmonic resonance patterns. Our bridge crew froze. Somehow, the humans had hacked our internal communication system. This is Raj Patel, Chief Engineer of Earth Defense Forces, the voice continued cheerfully. Your shield technology relies on a predictable subspace frequency modulation. Took me about 20 minutes to crack it after studying the debris from that medical ship you destroyed. You know, the one carrying children from the mining colony. Galm'ek's face tendrils contorted with rage. Cut all systems. Full restart. Yeah, that won't work, Patel's voice continued. We've already uploaded a quantum virus into your mainframe. Nice bioneural circuitry, by the way. Very elegant. But terrible security protocols. Outside our viewports, I could see human ships, not one, but hundreds, emerging from what appeared to be artificially generated spatial distortions. They weren't using conventional engines at all, but some form of localized space-time manipulation. They've been hiding their true technology level, I whispered, newfound respect blooming within me. All those primitive ships we observed. They were decoys. The confirmation came moments later as Commander Vance's vessel, at least 10 times larger than initially believed, emerged from behind Earth's moon, its massive hull bristling with weapons unlike anything in our databases. "Sir," Lieutenant Paxlor reported, voice trembling, "we've lost contact with the Draconis and the Vorith. The reinforcement cruisers are under heavy attack the moment they exit fold space." Galm'ek stumbled back into his command chair. How? They were supposed to be centuries behind us. I accessed what remained of our intelligence database and found my answer. They were testing us, Commander. Feeding us what we expected to see. These humans. They're not like other species we've encountered. They united their entire planet for this defense. No factions, no infighting. One purpose. As Galm'ek descended into panicked orders and increasingly desperate countermeasures, I made my decision. Our people didn't deserve extinction because of one commander's arrogance. Quietly, I slipped away from the bridge chaos toward the emergency communication bay. If I could establish direct contact with Commander Vance, perhaps I could explain that not all Neb'ulari supported this aggression. As I hurried through the corridors, stepping over unconscious crew members incapacitated by human stun weapons designed to immobilize rather than kill, I realized something profound: these humans could have annihilated us already. They were showing restraint. And that, perhaps, was the most terrifying revelation of all. #only one ship? Part 4, Resolution and Understanding. You have exactly 60 seconds before my security team stuns you into next week, Commander Vance said, arms crossed as she stood before me in the neutral meeting pod. Her dark eyes betrayed no emotion, but the slight tilt of her head suggested curiosity. "Why should I believe anything a Neb'ulari says after what you did?" I slowly placed my translator device on the table between us. "Because I tried to stop it. The attack on your medical convoy violated every protocol of our exploration mandate. Commander Galm'ek acted against explicit orders from our Science Council." Vance's expression didn't change. 40 seconds. "We were told you had only one defensive ship in this system. We were told you were primitive, fractured, easy to intimidate. We were wrong. Spectacularly wrong." 20 seconds. I pushed forward the data crystal I'd risked everything to bring. "This contains all our intelligence on your species, our fleet positions, and communication codes. It also contains my personal log confirming that your convoy was clearly broadcasting medical emergency signals that Galm'ek deliberately ignored." For several long moments, Vance just stared at me. Then she picked up the crystal, studying it with narrowed eyes. "You realize," she finally said, "that 27 people died on that medical ship. 3 of them were children." My heart's constricted painfully. "I know. Nothing can undo that tragedy. But thousands more will die, on both sides, if this conflict continues." To my surprise, Vance suddenly laughed. It wasn't a pleasant sound. "You still don't get it, do you? If we wanted to destroy your entire fleet, we could have done it within the first hour. Engineer Patel cracked your shield harmonics in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. She leaned forward. "We've been fighting a defensive action while we determined if this was an isolated incident or the beginning of a full-scale invasion." Understanding dawned. "You've been holding back?" "Of course we have. We're not monsters." I'd never felt smaller in my life. The communication panel chimed. "Commander," came a human voice, "Galm'ek is requesting direct communication. He's threatening to self-destruct his vessel if we don't withdraw immediately." Vance sighed. "Put him through." Galm'ek's face appeared on the screen, contorted with fury when he saw me standing beside Commander Vance. "Traitor," he screamed. "You dishonor the Neb'ulari with your cowardice." "It's over, Galm'ek," I replied quietly. "The humans have shown more honor in victory than you did in aggression." "Never." I will not surrender to primitives. I will. His image vanished as a massive explosion rocked his ship, visible through the pod's viewport. He actually did it, Vance whispered. Destroyed his own ship with all hands aboard rather than face the consequences. No, I corrected, checking the sensor readings. Life pods were launched moments before detonation. He sacrificed his crew to cover his escape. Vance nodded grimly. We'll find him. 1 Earth year later, Ambassador Trazik, your thoughts on the treaty? Asked the reporter, hovering drone camera capturing my image against the backdrop of the new Neb'ulari Human Cooperative Research Facility. I gazed out at the Earth ships and Neb'ulari vessels docked side by side. Commander Vance, now Admiral Vance, stood nearby, conversing with the Neb'ulari Science Council representatives. I believe, I said carefully, that the greatest strength of humanity isn't their hidden technology or military prowess. It's their capacity for both righteous fury and profound mercy. They could have annihilated us for our mistake. Instead, they offered partnership. The reporter smiled. And Galm'ek? Still in hiding. But less relevant with each passing day. As the interview concluded, I reflected on how one tragic misunderstanding had ultimately forged something remarkable, 2 species learning that true strength lies not in deception or aggression, but in the wisdom to know when to fight, and when to forgive.